Is everything all right?
I'm fine, Gary. I'm just having a wee moment.
Something happened?
Oh no, just the usual style, But all good, Gary. We're here.
Yes, and welcome to show 52.
52, my goodness, can you believe it? But it's not actually a year, Gary. I don't know what we've done with our numbers. We've done more shows than we've done in the year. But you had a theory about that, didn't you, Gary?
Relatively, yeah. But I can't explain the theory because I don't know what it is.
You said there was a leap year, and then
We've had a leap year, and then we leaped a couple of weeks, and then something went wrong, and you added some known that you didn't know you were adding, and it added up to an extra week or two.
Something like that, Gary.
I feel as if I'm talking like that guy, Leach, and then, but.
Oh, have you been watching the health updates?
His presentation style is really good. He gets a lot of abuse, but he gets good presentation.
Well,
week 52, Andy, that's astounding.
It is astounding, and good evening, viewer.
Good evening to the viewer. Did you go on that course during the week, Andy?
No, I just listened to what you had to say intently last week, Gary, and I thought, you're quite right. Make it personal. Good evening, viewer.
It's a one-on-one. We're talking to you.
Well, we're not talking to just one person because we've got our usual crew in. Wallace is in first, apparently.
Evening, Wallace. Wallace, let us know, how many shows have you done over the lockdown? You need to let us know, Wallace.
Wallace has done a gazillion, I'm sure. Evening, Elizabeth. Elizabeth, we've got some exciting news coming up you might be interested in later on.
Really?
Yeah. It's exciting.
It's all exciting. Good evening, all.
Good evening. But actually, I don't know if Irene is speaking to all of the folk that are on Facebook chatting away, because they've got a wee subgroup going on. We're left out of the group chat, Gary. There's something.
They have a better time than us.
I think they do. Evening, Catherine.
Hi, boys. That was an advert, wasn't it?
Hello, boys. Yes, it was. What was the name of the
Angelina Herzegovina? Or was that
Bosnia Herzegovina, wasn't it?
That was him. That was. Anyway, it's quite astounding. Week 52, show 52 on the chat show. And we've got an angry face.
There already?
An early angry face. We don't get angry faces in the show, so see if you've done that deliberate. We're not very pleased. See if you pressed it. You can undo it. It's all right.
It was Alice who I'm just saying, evening, boys. Alice has accidentally hit the angry face. I'm sure she meant a wee smiley face or something like that.
Who knows? The wonders of it. We'll see if the angry face disappears, Andy. We'll just
we'll get it updated.
We'll put the bing bongs on. Actually, something caught my eye this week that isn't on the caught my eye thing.
Go on, Gary.
What's his name? Him that was a ding dong. Ding dong.
Oh yeah, Terry Thomas.
No, not him.
He was the original ding dong, was he not?
Ding dong. He was in he's dead suave. Leslie Phillips.
Leslie Phillips.
Phillips. His birthday this week, I believe.
Oh, is it?
And I thought of you with your bing bong.
Oh dear goodness! 227 shows and 355 hours of shows finishing end of this month. There you go. Wallace has been keeping count.
That's some achievement, Wallace. Well done.
Oh well, there we go. Right, folks.
I suppose with everything changing, Andy, hopefully, and lockdown easing, and this, just to let you know, this is an opening back up special. So I suppose with everything slowly opening back up, maybe the appetite for online stuff is waning ever so slightly. Maybe the things will change. Maybe there'll be no need for chat show.
Oh, could you imagine, Gary? We get our Wednesday nights back.
Well, we will get our Wednesday nights back, Andy, to prove that it's live, that this isn't recorded.
Aye, well, it's not recorded.
It's far from recorded.
It's definitely not. I'm real. I'm live. It's Wednesday night.
Well, you can do that.
It's 5 minutes past. It's 5 minutes past 8 o'clock. Of course, it's live. We might go, Gary, when we can get back out into the real world. We might go. We might do a road show, Gary. How about that?
Roadshow, and there's been requests trickling in. There's been requests for a live chat show.
A live chat show. Could you imagine, Gary? That'd be good. Well, although this is a live chat show in situ, we might be like in the bungalow or somewhere like that. But that'd be good.
That'd be all right, wouldn't it? I wonder if our personalities will come across. Going on the stage going, the next guy we want to talk to is Thingamajig. So, tell me a wee bit about yourself.
It might not work out. It might not.
It might not work. Because we get used to sitting in here and we're told.
I know. Well, absolutely. And nobody knows what we look like from kind of here down. That's a mystery, Gary.
I've got long trousers on. It isn't the Ranga Nathan show, Andy. You pick the person with no trousers and you win a prize.
No, we don't want any of that stuff. Good, clean family fun. Well, listen, folks, how are you all doing? It'd be really good to see how you are. Let us know how your week is going this week. What have you been up to? What have you been doing? And I guess as it's an opening back up special tonight, what are you most looking forward to opening back up in Paisley? Tell us your favourite places that you cannot wait to be back spending your money in already. So that would be...
There's a thought. And we've also had thoughts, Andy. We have been in discussion, in heated discussion.
We have. Yeah.
We need to own up.
Well, it's not going to happen in the way that we
make an announcement. We should make an announcement about the chatathon.
It's not going to happen in the way that we thought it could happen, because there seems to be, believe it or not, an 8-hour limit on our broadcasts.
Yeah, and we've also got lives that's.
But listen. The concept of some form of long chat show. I know they're long enough, folks, but the thought of a long-term chat show would be good. And
it would be
we
good.
need to figure it out. We need to get the logistics.
Yeah, we do. We need a longer run into it. And you've got a busy life, Andy, and my life's getting busier with things settling down a wee bit more with the office move and all that sort of stuff.
Well, we've got a few comments in already that folk are looking forward to. I like these folks. Don't even know these folks, but every week, every now and again, they always post up a little ad. They're always quite good. They're good with the social media. So I must say, first of all,
that's Wallace's shop.
Oh, is it?
I
didn't know who it was. Well, there we go. He's got 2 accounts on the go.
Right, unless it's not Wallace.
Well, maybe not. So, Core 2 Computing, Paisley's best PC repair and sales, completely not affiliated with Paisley Community Trust. So that's your free advertisement this week. So the Italian restaurants, Irene's keen to get back to.
Yeah. You better tell Core 2 Computing that type of endorsement comes with a fee. Yes, because we're to be professional about it.
Sponsored by
a professional charity organisation. We're going to be on the scrounge soon.
We're going to be raising some funds at some point. But anyway.
Yeah. So if you want to, let's have a chat.
Yeah. So, Gary, what's caught your eye this week, Gary? I know you've been busy up to a few bits and pieces. So what's been catching your eye this week, Gary?
A lot caught my eye, but I've been busy, Andy. So a couple of things caught my eye. I'll start with something.
Go on.
And then maybe some things will have caught your eye. And then we can finish with the last thing that caught my eye. So I'm going to try and find... Yes. So I went a walk. I went a wee walk today. I thought, what a fantastic day. I was in my new office. I thought, I'm going to go a walk up the town. And I walked past this area. I walked across the river, across the bridge at the Abbey, at the cart.
Yep.
And it's just not a random picture. That JCB was moving. and there was activity at the Millhouse Coming Soon Flats area. So what I wanted to show and highlight tonight in the coming back out special is things are starting to move. There's activity, there's construction. Really encouraged by seeing that JCB flattening and clearing that land, because it looks as if there's a bit of work getting done there. And you know what these are like, Andy? They'll get thrown up and they'll be up and running very soon.
Yep, absolutely. That's an encouraging sign, Gary. And we spoke about that on our property special a few shows ago. There's lots of developments happening in the town. You know, that's really encouraging. What do developments mean? Well, okay, so you've got someone that's decided they're going to invest their money in Paisley. That's a really encouraging sign. Then you've got obviously folk buying those houses, and then you've got folk wanting to spend money locally, and that big push on 20-minute neighbourhood. I don't know how many flats they're going to have in there. Maybe, what do you reckon, Gary? 20, 30 flats, something like that?
What? At least.
So you've got all those households who are looking for places to buy their food, to buy their drink, to buy their entertainment, to buy their clothes. You know, you've got all those different clubs that might benefit from them being in the town. So that's great. Fantastic to see.
So don't say we don't follow up.
We don't.
So we link it all together. This is all a magical weave that we've got here. Let's remember what we talked about there and remember to bring it back into the show one week. That's our prediction values.
Aye. What else caught your eye this week, Gary? Or will I do a couple that caught my eye?
You're gone to the moon and back, I'm sure, Andy, when you're catching your eye.
And let's start off with a spacey themed one, because you know, folks, I like doing my spacey stuff, right? So we've talked about haggis in space, and you know, we've talked about some of the SpaceX missions and stuff like that. Well, it might have escaped your notice this week, but we did something. Humankind done something absolutely breathtaking this week, and it was this. We flew that little helicopter drone, which is called Ingenuity, on the planet Mars, over 100 million miles away. So the team at NASA landed Perseverance there a number of months ago, and Perseverance dropped out Ingenuity onto the planet. And then this week, Ingenuity actually took to the air, and it went up. I think it was about 3 meters or something, Gary. It went up, hovered and landed. So that's the very first one. But when you look at what we can achieve, you know, the scientists, the technologists, the engineers, the mathematicians, and the folk with a vision to be able to do that. So that's Mars. Let's talk about some things of Paisley relation, because you know they're close enough, Gary.
Right. So what else related to Mars at Paisley has caught your eye?
Well, not necessarily Paisley related, Mars related, but a couple of things Paisley related. So these were two things that I saw off of Facebook. So we mentioned there a little earlier on that there'd be some exciting things coming up for Elizabeth, and we said that there'd be something of interest to you. Now, Elizabeth, I know you're a big fan at distance of Castlevecchi chip shops in New Street in Paisley. Well, they have got a new job opening. They're looking for a counter assistant. And if anyone is interested in getting a job at Castlevecchi's, and we've had Alfredo on the show talking about the historical nature of Castlevecchi's and everything that it does, 0141 887 0897 is a telephone number to phone if you or any person that you know is looking for a job and is good at serving up fish and chips.
Can you apply from America, Andy? Is that one of the criteria?
I think you have to put a +1 at the front of it, Gary, when you're dialing.
Yeah, but Elizabeth could apply if she wanted to.
I don't know if they do international employment visas, Gary. That's maybe missed off the ad. But,
no,
but that was one thing. That was one thing. Elizabeth, she's up for it. She can handle the fish and chips, so fantastic. The next one is on the right-hand side, Farmers Market, Gary, coming back this weekend to...
Yeah, I've seen that. I was intrigued with the top left picture. Is that sausage rolls?
It is sausage rolls, Gary. It is sausage rolls. But what caught my eye in that picture, Gary, is the cheese on the top right. I like a bit of cheese, it has to be said. Yeah. And right in the middle of that cheese is a black cheese there, Gary. Hopefully you can see that okay.
Okay.
Well, my good lady was down and picked up. Sorry, I'm just getting my cup of tea right now, folks.
It's only 9 minutes late.
So it's fine. It's on time. It's on. Well, it's still warm, Gary. That's the main thing. But anyway, Claire was down at the farmers market the other week when it was in, and picked up a circle of that black cheese.
Yeah.
And it is the Damn Fine Cheese Company, and I can tell you, Gary, it was damn fine. The actual cheese itself is black all the way through.
Oh no.
Oh no, it's delicious. It's really, delicious, really tasty. So one final thing that caught my eye this week before we crack on, Gary, was this one. I think Mags McGee, we know Mags is a regular viewer of the programme and a friend of the Trust.
Yeah.
And Mags posted up this, which is a wee bit of Paisley heritage.
Oh, that looks a bit Italian.
Well, I quite liked it. Reception and conversazione.
Oh, keeping with the Italian theme.
Absolutely. And this was at the inauguration of the Free Library and Museum back in 1871, Gary. So they opened it up.
Wow.
1871, Tuesday, the 11th of April.
Wow.
So what's that, 130 years ago, at 7 o'clock p.m. So not only did the conversazione, which I might just adopt into common parlance for myself, Gary, what I also liked was this one here is the ladies' ticket.
Oh, I see that. I'm just wondering, Andy, is there a typo on there?
Go on.
Yeah. Is o'clock a big O?
Oh, well, I think they would have done things pretty right in those days, Gary. So I think it would have been...
Think so.
I wonder if
there's a view on that. I wonder if people recognise that it should be a big O or a wee O. And maybe back in the day it was a wee O, and now that we've kind of, I think it should be a big one.
A big O. Well, the other thing is as well is they've also gone for 7 as in SEVEN as opposed to the number 7 as well, which I thought was... But it was clearly of that time, Gary.
Steven and a leaving is the Paisley way of saying it.
So this was the ladies' ticket, Gary. I don't know what the men's ticket looked like. I don't know what the difference was, but clearly, there you go. Reception.
Well, that's cracking. I mean, there's Graham mentioned the 150th anniversary of the museum is when... Does that work out to now?
150. I say the 130 years. I'm 20 years out of my time. Yeah, 150 anniversary of the museum. That's correct, Graham.
What's the plan? What's the plan then?
No idea. Get a new museum.
There you go, Wallace. Some man.
Only capital if it's at the start of the sentence. You would never start a sentence off with o'clock, would you? Though.
Well, you might.
put the word o'clock into a sentence at the
start. There's a
challenge.
There's a challenge for the viewer. Start a sentence with o'clock at the start. Now you could be praising a clock.
Yeah, but you still start the sentence with crazy.
Really? Anyway, we digress somewhat, which is what we do.
Which is what we do. So anyway, folks, those were a few things that caught my eye and Gary's eye this week. However,
well, another thing caught my eye, Andy.
Go on.
As I was driving up the Renfrew Road, I had to put the handbrake on and do a burley.
Right. A burley. Go on.
I thought, geez, well, what's going on over there? And I didn't expect it because it wasn't there in the morning when I drove down.
Right.
And it was this.
Oof.
Now that caught my eye. Seriously caught my eye. And I actually thought, that looks pretty impressive.
M&S food.
Yeah. So they're digging outside. I think the cable guys are going by. They're doing a bit of digging outside.
Aye.
And if you're ever down the Renfrew Road and drive down the way, they've done something really strange with the lanes. I don't know if you've been down that way recently.
They have. I've noticed the lanes. If you're sitting outside the Brablach going straight,
Yeah.
You've got to then do a wee jinky across the road. And there's going to be an accident there, isn't there? If there hasn't been already.
And what for? I'd like to ask our friends in the audience, our connected viewer, what are the lanes all about? Yeah, exactly. See when you're in the left-hand lane, here's a tip. Don't veer with the line in the middle. Just keep going straight.
If you're in the left-hand lane?
If you're in the left-hand lane, keep going straight. Because there's no need to follow the middle line there, because it just takes you all wonky. But see, if you're in the right-hand lane,
don't go straight.
You need to follow it.
You've got to get into the middle. I mean, Wallace has mentioned that they've moved the central reservation, which they have, but I've not had time to really take a look at the rationale behind it all, Gary.
No, I'm thinking about writing a paper on it and sending it to the union and see if they'll publish it.
Because when you're looking across at the lane and you got to go that way, and it just doesn't make any sense, Gary.
What way?
That way. If
no,
you're
I
thought
it was that way.
No, it's that way.
Oh dear, God help the bungalow when they go live for the chat show in there.
Oh dear.
There's no chance. Anyway, so that caught my eye.
Good stuff.
It's in some ways indicative of this evening's theme of opening up. And of course, post-COVID and everything going on with COVID, we've all struggled, we've all suffered, we've all locked down, we've all sneaked out. And our establishments, our traders have borne the brunt, really, because they've not been allowed to have us to congregate in the premises, to shop and to socialise. And some of them are opening back up. And we want to open the show up to a couple of businesses tonight to tell their story about opening back up and other things. So is it about time we got a guest on, Andy?
I think we're going to get our new guest on, and complete with a haircut. You got a haircut especially for the show, I understand, Gary.
Yeah, you did. I did it. A number 3 all over.
Looking good, Alan.
Alan.
Hi, guys. How you doing?
Aye,
yeah,
good.
You didn't need to bother, Alan. You didn't need to make the effort. You were looking mighty fine.
I was down to here, almost.
Oh, was it?
It was terrible. Well, my hair goes curly, so it was
12 months, was it, Alan? 12 months?
Nearly, yeah. Almost.
Do you have to towel it dry?
I didn't need colours. Definitely not.
Good. Well, Alan, are you keeping well apart from all of that stuff?
Yeah, all good. Yeah, it's good to have a date to look forward to open the business back up, although it's going to be challenging. It's better to have something than nothing. But I think the last year has been very challenging for hospitality. If you don't have a food offering, it's been very difficult. Albeit, if you have music as well, then that adds to that complication of crowds, restrictions. The legislation's just been really difficult. So we did pivot the business last summer.
So Alan, for those that perhaps don't know you, because we obviously know you, and it's great. For those that perhaps don't know you, tell us a wee bit about who you are and what you do and your organisation within the town.
Yeah, sure. Well, I came into the creative scene in 2013. I opened up Brick Lane Studios in the one-way system, which was a facility for bands, musicians and singers. And we introduced music lessons as well. So I did that up until last year, and I've sold the business on. During that time, I started up a media business, Brick Lane Media, which is still currently going. And in 2019, we took over the bungalow with Tommy McGrory, and we had a real successful first 6 months until lockdown. Built the business up to a really strong point, and then obviously with the lockdown, everything stopped. I was allowed to trade in some ways with the media company.
Yep.
You know, out on field with building companies, that type of thing. But that's been a big struggle as well. So that's kind of my journey since 2013 to where we are today.
Alan, that's good to hear, and I think the people that tune in and watch the show, some of them will know the bungalow, some won't.
Yeah.
Could you give us a bit of a flavour of what the bungalow's about, where it came from, what it is now, and how it's structured?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the bungalow has been around since the 70s, and it started as a small pub by a chap called Paul Humphreys, and it was at the bottom of Renfrew Road, which is now the Japan Street Food Restaurant. And Paul enlisted the help of a chap called Loudon Temple to put some bands on. So they brought acoustic acts in, and just at that very time, Glasgow had a massive problem with their punk scene, and their punk scene there. The Glasgow Council put a ban on it because there was so much trouble with punks. So all the big artists that were going to Glasgow were looking for somewhere nearby to play, and Loudon Temple attracted them to come and play the bungalow at the bottom of Renfrew Road. Some of them went to the hotel along the road. What was that called again? The one, Craig, I can't remember the name of it. Silver Thread, that was it. Yeah,
the old
Silver Thread. So between these kind of venues, the big bands came along. You get the big names, and Paisley really get put on the map at that point. And the bungalow is kind of legacy comes from that. Over the years, it closed down. There was a resurgence of it. A chap called Drew McCormick brought back a sort of resurgence by putting gigs on round various pubs in Paisley, until the point where they actually opened a venue in Shuttle Street. And Tommy and I took over that business in 2019 as a community interest company. So a community interest company is something that's not for profit. The money that we make gets put back into the business to improve it and to give people in the music community an opportunity. So every Thursday and Sunday when we were open, we had an introducing night. So all the young artists, up and coming bands would come in and get an opportunity to play with a professional setup, with a sound engineer, lighting engineer, and get that experience of playing in a venue. They were loss-making nights, but because of our structure, we were able to put profits back into these nights, and that's what we'll continue to do when we open back up. So that's kind of what we do. Our enterprise, and we make our money at weekends from having bigger named artists and tribute nights, that type of thing.
That's fantastic to hear, Alan, because the bungalow is, it's a very well-known name in Paisley, particularly in the music scene, as you mentioned. It's got that fantastic heritage to it, and it's great to see the evolution of it evolving into a community interest company. So you are reinvesting, if you like, into that grassroots level talent, and that's really good to build that sustainability of talent going forward. So eventually, if you're breaking through new talent, that talent will get to a point where folk will actually go along and they'll pay a few extra quid to go and see them or whatever, or they'll springboard onto other venues as well. So the fact that you're doing that is, you're reinvesting back in the grassroots. It's brilliant. But 2019, that was the calm before the storm. 2020 and COVID has been a real challenge, I guess. Alan, what are some of the challenges that you faced?
Going forward, I suppose there's still a bit of unknown. We do have a roadmap. Everybody's got a roadmap out of this, so we're no different. Although the fine details are still being discussed at Parliament level, Scottish Parliament level, with key stakeholders in the music industry in Scotland, mainly Music Venues Trust. So they lobby for us, and we get involved quite a lot with discussion there around, what the challenges we have and what we expect going forward and what we would need to have have a sustainable live music business. So the roadmap at the moment, I think there's you've all heard of it, probably the date of May 17th is going from phase 3 to phase 2, I believe. So at that point, we are led to believe there will be some form of entertainment allowed back in venues, albeit about 50% restrictions on capacity. So, for example, our venue is 280. We might get numbers around about 100 mark, 120, maybe something like that, maybe a bit more. It really depends how everything pans out through the health service over the coming weeks. But then looking forward from there, if that all goes to plan, we're probably talking about July before there's maybe another restriction lift. And at that point, the numbers will increase again. And you may be looking at things like nightclubs at that point being allowed to open. I don't know around the numbers, whether there will be restrictions at that point. But, the roadmap suggests that by this August, September time should be out of this from an entertainment and nightclub point of view.
Well, I suppose, Alan, it's relatively, or it's still frustrating. For that to be the case, but and if there's a target in front of you, at least that's some comfort that you're moving towards that. And I suppose this weekend and or on Monday or the starting up of the opening up. But the precursor to that, of course, you're involved in the food festival. Can you tell us a wee bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, through the media company, my media company is about 3 years old now, so we've done a lot of work with the council over the years. Things you've probably seen films over the years, event films for the previous food festivals, the fireworks displays, the Halloween nights that they have, the spree. We've done event films for all these festivals. So we work really closely with a great team at the council. The events team Paisley is. They've all been very supportive of us and giving us that work, working together to produce that. So we've been asked back again to help them. We helped them with the Christmas light switch on. I don't know if you saw that film where they're driving through all the towns and the lights are coming on.
That was a cracker.
That was a wee film that we did, and then we're involved this year by rounding off the Paisley Food and Drink Festival this Saturday evening at 8 p.m. with a bungalow online cocktail party.
Funnily enough, funny you mentioned that, Alan. So it's as if this is all this is like a proper telly programme now, Andy.
Absolutely, we're slick. So in complete seamless style, we're going to play a wee video.
Enjoy an evening of cocktail making and brilliant music to close out this year's online Paisley Food and Drink Festival. Tune in to Paisley Is Facebook page from 8 p.m. on Saturday, 24th of April, and watch top performances from Tom Maguire and the Brass Holes, The Vegan Leather, Scaladonia, John Rush, and the Well Happy Band. During the performances, you can also learn how to make 8 of your favourite cocktails with local businesses, Gantry, the Glenifer and the Brown Bull in Lochwinnoch. Plus, keep an eye out on the Bungalow's Facebook page for all the cocktail ingredients ahead of the show. Then join me, Gus, from Pulse 98.4 and shake the night away.
There you go.
That's actually quite good, that, Alan. And I know it's not the same, but we are making allowances and different things to try and keep us all entertained and keep us going.
Yeah, I think what's been really good about it, guys, is the fact, I think over the last year, we've probably worked with about 10 bands and us from Pulse FM, various other businesses, and a lot of these people, like sound engineers you don't see in the film, the music, the video editors, these people, everybody's getting paid, so there's still an industry happening while lockdown was going on, albeit, we had quite stringent COVID regulations to follow. There was still people involved in delivering entertainment, which is fantastic. It's great to be part of that.
That's good. That's important, Alan. So that's at the weekend, Alan, and so following the weekend, you've got...
Hold on. I'm going. I'm getting my cocktail kit picked up. We're up for it.
Fantastic.
What are you getting?
I have no idea. Whatever comes in the box.
Well, are you going to get to the 8th one?
I have no idea. The missus has organised it, and there's cocktails from Gantry and all this sort of stuff. I think Teardrop Gin's involved, and there's a whole host of. I'm just going to turn up and do exactly what Paul Stewart suggests. He's good at doing.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Which is making cocktails. Is that not the job?
I hope there's a wee bit of Baroka in there, Andy.
Oh, well, I don't know if there's any Baroka in there, but there's a bit of Tom Maguire and the Brassholes in there, which I'm quite happy to see. So Tom's, what a performer he is. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be great. I mean, we've all had to adopt and adapt rather different ways of doing things during these lockdowns. So, these are, hopefully we're getting to the last number of these kind of virtual events. And it was interesting what you were saying, your capacity is 220 or something like that.
280, yeah.
280, so you'll be able to get to about maybe 100 or so.
Yeah.
That's when you think after what we've been through over the last year, getting 100 folk in a venue, you think that's a result. That's great.
Aye, that's the target.
We've got to see these things through, and I'm sure it'll be fantastic on Saturday.
Yeah, so
absolutely.
As I was saying, Andy, before I was rudely interrupted,
I was just excited at the fact that I'm getting cocktails this weekend.
Well, that's over the weekend, Alan, and in the virtual world, and then on Monday. What's the plans for Monday? What you got in place?
Well, as I mentioned earlier on, we had to pivot the business last year, so we applied for outdoor seating because we had to get an income of some sort. So because we don't have a kitchen, we couldn't do food. So we went and we got the licenses for outside, which was great, and it worked well for us. And then we opened up back indoors last year for about 3 or 4 weeks until the second lockdown. So we're going for it again this year. We're going to open up outdoors. Thanks for showing the picture.
I jumped the gun on.
That was great. And we're taking bookings just now, so you can.
How do we take bookings?
You just message us on our Facebook page or email us on that email address at thebungalowhq@gmail.com. And we're doing 3 hour up to 3 hour slots. We're allowed to do, and we'll be open from 12 till 9 p.m.
Okay.
So let us know if you want to book a table. Obviously, weather dependent, but we'll see how it goes.
Fingers crossed for good weather. And did you get big brollies at the standby?
We're looking at. We've got big umbrellas just now, but we're looking at a canopy of some sort, maybe gazebos, that type of thing.
I know where there's a big tent thing.
Where would that be?
Up
in Glenburn.
Well, listen, we do have some wise words here from Councillor Devine, of course, because we've got to remember, without being completely party pooper, it's not over yet. It's a slow and gradual, phase back in, and I'm sure Alan and all of your folks will be encouraging people to remember the facts that's been hammered out. So face coverings, avoid crowded places. So you're going to be very segmented in terms of their clean hands and surfaces regular, 2 meters away from each other, and of course, if anyone is showing any symptoms, they should be self-isolating. So Eddie's quite right. It's not over. We've got to be sensible. We can't all go about, masks off and, hugging and kissing and doing all that stuff. That'll all happen later on. But we've got to be sensible. But we can't wait, I think, to see a return to some degree of normality.
Yeah, it's good to have it'd be great to have the opportunity to have the choice to choose those things again that we used to have the choice to choose, and all that variety of entertainment. And nipping down to the bungalow for a gig. And I know there's a number of gigs in the diary, Alan. When's your real sense of when that first gig will be?
Yeah, I was just going to say, Gary, we've been very, very cautious about our booking. So we have actually, we're looking at end August, September for live music in a realistic way. So as Eddie said, he's right. We've got to take that time. We're going to take the time to make sure we do it right, make sure the numbers are down, and make sure that everybody's confident and comfortable to come back out. So there's no point in putting a band on and nobody has the confidence to come. And it's just a loss-making situation for everybody.
Yeah, no, don't want that at all. And, hopefully in parallel with vaccinations and various other things, it starts to move back, because, I mean, we're really aware rather how apparent the pain of COVID has been on the traders in the town. And if you can start getting kind of money into your tills again, that's going to be vital. And ultimately, I guess there's, the kind of one of the questions: how can the community help you, Alan? How can the community help the bungalow? What's your call out to the community?
I would just say to, when we are trading, to support us, to book a table, to come along. It will be a safe environment. We will be following all the legislation that's there. Our licence wouldn't allow us to do it otherwise. So it will be safe. And just keep an eye on our Facebook page for updates and support us that way. That'll ensure that we're here for a long time to come.
Yeah, brilliant, Alan. Great message, and good luck over the weekend with the cocktail thing. And
thank you.
And fingers crossed for Monday. Hope it all goes well.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Good luck, Alan. Speak to you soon. Okay, sir.
Yeah, Alan, thanks for coming on the show.
Bye now, bye. Well, a glimpse, Gary, of things to come, hopefully.
Yeah, I think taking the opportunity tonight to welcome some of our local businesses to talk about opening back up and tentatively opening back up, and I think that flavour of the food festival, Andy, will give people this is coming, and the guys in the bungalow are online at the weekend, but they're opening Monday, and that's good.
Absolutely, and I think also the other thing is as well, Gary. I mean, we're all customers, and we've all got views and we've all got opinions. When you go along to a place, you know what it's like. If the service is a certain way, if the food's a certain way, or whatever it might be. All I'd say is, these traders that are out there, these companies, this has been really, really tough for them, and they're giving it a go to start getting back on their feet again. And what we can do is go out and support them, by if we can, and following all the guidance and following all the appropriate guidelines that have been put in place. We can support them, but also we can just be a wee bit more perhaps tolerant. Things might just not be working in the right place. You might have a little bit of a longer wait or whatever. Put yourself in their shoes. This is going to be tough for a lot of companies as they start to open back up again, as they start to think about trading, all the new legislation. Alan mentioned that, the licensing restrictions that are in place, he has to work around and work with in order to deliver what he's looking to deliver. So there's going to be shops in that place. There's going to be cafes and bars and restaurants all having to follow similar guidance. So support what you can, help them as you can, be a wee bit more tolerant where we can, and hopefully we'll move a step closer to normality in the weeks and months to come, Gary. Yeah, absolutely, Andy. And if you can, by way of supporting your local businesses, especially the hospitality trade, they've had it hard. It's been really, really difficult. And if you're buying your beer or your coffee or your panini or whatever, and it comes to £3.50, give them a £5, give them a £10. It's been really difficult. Support your local traders. Do we have a Round It Up campaign, Gary? Is that what it's called? I don't know. Is that something you could start? You've just said something, and I thought we'll just have a Round It Up campaign. If it's £18, just round it up to 20. If it's 22 quid, round it up to 25. A round it up campaign.
I think we should do that, Andy. Let's get it started. And I also think, and I'll maybe ask our guests coming on a wee bit later on what they think of this. But when I'm in a coffee shop and I get asked for my loyalty card, I say to them, I don't believe in the loyalty card. I don't want something free from you. You're a business. I want to pay. I feel like I should pay for the service that you're providing. So there might be a different way of doing a loyalty card. And I would like to suggest that either don't take the loyalty card and pay, or have a pay it forward type of thing. Because there's people out there that are really struggling, and they might come in and say a code word and they get a free coffee because you've paid for their coffee.
Aye. So, folks, be as generous as you can. There was a lovely wee post. I nearly put that up tonight. A lovely wee post on one of the Paisley Facebook pages, and someone was at a drive-through McDonald's in Linwood. That's their choice of food. That's where they were at. But when they got to pay, the person said, the lady in front of you paid for your food.
Yeah, there you go.
So it was, whatever it was, 5 quid, 10 quid. They went, I'll get mines, but I'll get that car behind me, and they paid for their food. Now, What a wonderful gesture. If something like that happens, pass it on, but think of what you can do to pass on something really nice and something really kind this week. If you can pay for somebody's food at the drive-through, round it up in your local coffee shop, pay it forward or whatever it might be, those are all good habits.
Nice things to do, Andy. I'm looking forward to somebody saying to me in Tesco, that woman there just paid for your gin.
Do you know, many years ago, Gary, I don't know if somebody will be as generous as that, but many years ago, I read one of these business management books, and it was about things that you can do to just generally do good things and be nice. And the guy gave the example of paying for the car behind you in the toll. So I was going over I was like 24 or something like that. I was going over the Erskine Bridge once, and I went, I'll pay for my car. It was like 60p or something. I'll pay for my car. I'll pay for behind. And I just watched in the rear view mirror this car trying to frantically catch up with me, and kind of waved, just to go, thanks, great, but pay it forward.
Yeah, absolutely. So that round it up campaign, Andy, that should happen. See if you're fortunate enough that you've come through this and you're healthy and you've got a wee bit of spare that you can actually go down to the coffee shop, and that's a privilege as well.
Well, we're going to get Annette on for question of the week, so we'll maybe see what Annette's got to say about the Round It Up campaign. But there we go, just an idea off the top of a conversation, so that's great. And Elizabeth, we knew you would be saintly. We knew that you would be saintly.
We knew that.
Absolutely.
That's in Castelvecchi. Elizabeth will be there. Are you paying for this?
You never know, if she's that generous, she might get extra chips, Gary.
Yeah. Hi, good evening.
Good evening, how are you doing?
Oh, top as always, Annette. But conversation's good this evening. How are you? Are you getting on well? Busy week this week?
Yeah, no, I've had a good week this week. I've been out adventuring at Castle Semple, doing some kayaking and paddleboarding, just learning some new skills.
Awesome.
Very good.
I'm freezing.
Was it sunny or was it cold?
A mixture of both.
Both.
It was beautiful. Today was stunning. I was paddleboarding.
Yeah.
Kept falling in.
That sounds really all very healthy. But listen, we can only hope that we get a half decent summer. I think we're long over due it. So, Annette, we had quite a busy question of the week last week. So what was that question? Tell us all about it.
It was a busy question, but actually we had our lowest response to date, to be honest. So we had people respond to it, which was quite a surprise. But I'm not too sure if that was because of the amount of exposure it already had around the paper and things like that. And maybe people were just getting fed up, maybe talking about it. But out of the people that did respond, we got good conversations and good kind of discussions. The question came about due to the increased number of incidents across Paisley. involving some young people. So we wanted to know if people thought that there was adequate provision for the young people. Did they know about all the clubs? Was there enough clubs, etc.? So that was our question, really. And we got 22% saying yes, that there was enough provision, and 78% saying no, there wasn't. What kind of came out of the social comments was that there was no safe space for young people to actually congregate in, and quite often moved around. So they get moved out of the parks, they get moved out of Paisley Town Centre, they get moved. So maybe it's worthwhile considering a nice safe place for them to linger about, to hang about, to meet with pals.
That's interesting, and I think I remember back, if you remember the show we had with Renfrewshire Youth Voice, and we asked them if they had one thing that they could achieve in the town, and it was that was their answer.
Right.
The response was, we need somewhere to go.
Yeah, well, that's what was coming out, to be honest. But what also came on the back of it was some of the parks that they have been going to have been getting cleaned up by these guys, they meet up to clean up.
Yeah.
But what's been happening is they go in, clean it up, and then a couple of days later, there's more broken bottles and things like that. So, but I think it's a great idea. It's something that as a community we need to think about, or we need to kind of see how we can make it happen. Somebody's talked about a drop-in centre as well, maybe using one of our buildings that are not being used at the moment. Maybe we could get the youth people to kind of clean that up, to tidy it up, to help get involved and actually feel as if it's theirs. And they contributed. So maybe there's things that we could do around that.
And I think one of the other things in it is, the question was, are there enough things out there for young people to do? And the question is, I guess, one of people's perception of, are there enough things out there to do? Because we have had conversations on this show a number of times before, and there is seemingly loads of stuff out there. But there's maybe just not the information getting through, not the promotion getting through. So it's really important that if there is stuff happening out there, that we try and communicate that out. So here's the shout out to everyone that's watching tonight. If you know of clubs, if you know of organisations, if you know of groups, and if you think we already know about them, that's all okay. But or if you run a group or a club or a volunteer, organisation or whatever it might be, let us know. Let us know what they are. Drop us a message at Paisley Community Trust, or stick it in the chat or whatever, and we'll do our very best to promote, because COVID's been with us long enough. We'll be coming up to summer soon. That's always a time where younger people think, well, what can I do for the summer? Let us know if you get something on, or you know something. Let us know.
I think that's also in the context of now, and as we emerge and open up, we're really interested in the experiences of groups that exist, and telling their story of lockdown, how they survived through it, and what are they doing to open up, and what are they doing to attract young people.
And we'd be happy to share any of that on our pages and out to the groups that were already linked in, because that was definitely something that came through from the comments, and probably something as a parent myself, I'm not aware of all these groups. I'm exposed to a few of them, but I didn't know half of them until I started doing my research. So another wee thought that came to my mind as I was preparing for tonight's call, I thought, what about actually having a youth section on your Paisley First app? You know how the Paisley First app have got one that tells you this is the businesses, this is the stuff. Do they have a section that says clubs? And maybe it's worthwhile having a wee chat with them to see, is that something that they could add?
That's a thought. And as you were chatting there, Annette, a bit earlier on, I was thinking of the 20-minute neighbourhood thing, the changes that are coming in the town centre. There will be ample opportunity, I feel, for us all to contribute to the betterment of the town centre. And I think it's about grasping that and having older ambassadors to mentor young people and giving them opportunities to use their energy differently. I felt that was the thrust of what's been happening through lockdown, that young people are channeling their energy somewhere, and sometimes it's negative because potentially there isn't a positive outcome for it.
Yeah, and the places we would maybe usually go are shut. All the schools, clubs were shut, everything like that. So hopefully that will all be open.
Good stuff.
Just like something else, which leads to the question. The next
one.
Another
question? Yes, leading on, but this is seamless, isn't it? This is fantastic.
Yeah, obviously something shut late last year, which was the Marks and Spencers, and they announced that their plans to close the High Street store after 89 years. So obviously that was big on our show previously. But there, as you showed earlier on, that the food hall at Walnook is now opening. So we want to know about loyalty, to be honest. So given Marks and Spencer's closure of the High Street store and the opening of the food hall in Walnook, are you more likely or less likely to shop there now? So it'd be interested to see, are you more likely to shop there now than where it is, or are you less likely to shop?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question, because when Marks and Spencer's announced that they were closing the High Street store, you know, it's fair to say, you know, Paisley-related Facebook went into meltdown. There were so many people, the vast majority of people who just couldn't believe it. You know, going to Marks and Spencer's was the reason to get into the town. You know, it was part of their routine. You know, their older generation, you know, that was it for them. Folk found it very convenient who worked in the town, etc., etc. So we obviously know that they're investing in Walnook, that they're moving out there. So that's a really good question. You know, are you more likely or less likely to go there, given everything that Marks and Spencer's has done in closing the High Street store and moving out of the town centre effectively?
It's a loyalty thing, and it's also potentially a convenience thing as well, Andy. And when we shop in M&S, we go up to the town to shop in M&S, but it's likely because it's closer to our house that we'll be more likely are probably the same. So there won't be a change. Yeah. But if it had moved in the other direction, then it would maybe be a less likely. So I'm interested in the outcome of this.
Now, folks, just to be clear on this question, this is really only to do with Marks and Spencer's new food hall and the closure of the store in Paisley High Street. It's got absolutely nothing to do with this. It's got nothing to do with Caterpillars, Colin, Cuthbert, or otherwise, but that caught my eye this week, and it made me laugh, because I thought, actually, I don't know what your view on this is, Annette, but I thought the social media team at Aldi's played a blinder throughout the whole thing.
And is that we Caterpillars as well?
Oh yeah, there's I don't know who's, but Colin the Caterpillar, Cuthbert the Caterpillar. I mean, the truth of the matter is, it is sort of, you know, rip off kind of intellectual property infringement. But the way that it's been spun into a marketing thing has been quite funny. But in saying that as well, you get into Marks and Spencer's, they don't have Mr. Kipling's French fancies. They've got Marks and Spencer's fondant fancies. So they're all at it.
They're all doing it. They are all doing it.
That's genius.
Aldi's marketing is different class.
Oh, that was great. So so this comes to that magic piece in the show, folks. So get out your I nearly say get out your fartsmones.
Pardon?
Try to say get out your smartphones. Get out your fartsmones.
Right, let's go. I've got mine at the ready, Andy.
Right, get your camera on and hold it up to the screen. Little survey monkey goes open. And question of the week: are you more or less likely to shop at Marks and Spencer's in Walnook?
Done. And we've got a question of the week with a twist next week, Annette, I believe.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, go on. What are we doing? Some voting?
No, we're not telling Andy.
Oh. I've got a question for you guys. How do you say Castle Lovici? I say Castle Lovici and you say Castle Lovecchi.
Castle
we had Alfredo on, and he said it was Castle Vecchi.
Becky, so Castle. Right, okay. I've been saying it so wrong for so many years.
We had a previous debate, and somebody was trying to convince me that it was Castle Vici. And I went, I was told it was Castle Vecchi. We had Alfredo on, and he said it was Castle Vecchi.
When I was younger, it was Castellavecchi.
Castellavici.
I'll say it right from now on. Anyway,
I'll tell you what. Watch back the show that Alfredo's on, and exactly how he says it is the way it's to be said.
No worries.
Annette, thanks once again.
Thanks,
See you later on. I always love that wee bit, the QR code, Gary, because I think it's magic. But there was another wee thing that caught my eye this week, and it was in Singapore. And they flew up all these drones, and they did this. So hopefully you can see that with your specs on, Gary.
Oh, I'm dead impressed with all this tech. You know that.
But but these are all those little dots in the sky are drones, and that's a QR code. How clever!
So is the aliens that are hanging about Singapore just voted in a question of the week?
International reach, Gary. International reach.
Anyway, I'm a wee bit distracted because St Mum's just equalised. It's 1-1 up in Dingwall. So Ross County had taken the lead. I could be the new Sky reporter. Ross County had taken the lead, and St Mum's just equalised through Lee Irwin in the second half. So it's 1-1. Game on.
Breaking news.
Anyway,
fantastic.
Andy, we're in danger of rabbiting.
I know we've got another fantastic pair of guests lined up that I don't think that we should spend any more time talking. We should just get them on the screen, Gary.
Yeah, and you know why we should get them on the screen?
Go on.
Because they need to go at the back in case Alan McEwen stole their gazebo.
Oh, fantastic. Gary, Gemma, how are you both?
Hello.
Calling Glenburn. Can you hear us, Gary?
McFly.
I'm Mike.
Can you hear us?
All right. Everyone's okay.
How's that?
Is that right?
Can you hear us?
We can hear you. We can hear
you. Can hear us, right, okay.
Good stuff. Gemma, Gary, welcome to Chat Show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How are you both?
Welcome. You're very well. Like Alan, for those that don't know you, Gary and Gemma, please introduce yourself and your new thing.
Okay. So we're the new proprietors of the Glenifer Hotel, which has now been shortened to the Glenifer, as you'll see by the name. Kind of multi-purpose venue, very much going to be a food-led establishment going forward. Looking to get into the sort of wedding market, where we're in just now, as well as doing the existing functions as well. So I think I've kind of covered all the bases there. Sorry, Gemma, I'm not leaving you much to say.
We've no more questions. Thanks for coming on.
You forgot about that bit. So,
well, listen, Gary, I'm looking forward to it because you are quite literally just round the corner from me. So that's great. So tell us a wee bit how it all came about, because folk will know you, Gary, from some of your ventures within the town, and the Glenifer is a new opportunity that you and Gemma are involved in. So tell us a wee bit about that journey.
Well, basically, I've had dealings with Callum, who's the landlord. He's did a lot of the renovation works. Basically, his hand was forced because of lockdown. I think it was partially to give him something to do as well, because he really has went above and beyond, really where he probably would have went when we had the initial conversation about taking the place over.
Yeah.
He essentially, we had spoke of November 2019. Obviously, lockdown then kind of came about. Hadn't really heard anything from Callum, probably 2-3 months of lockdown. Then he said he's still interested. We kind of forgot all about it, to be honest with you, with everything that was going on. We came up and it was just wow, the stuff that he'd already done.
Yeah,
and he really managed to get seen his vision for the place, and it's really just grown arms and legs from there. Obviously, as we've opened and lockdowns have came, Callum has just kept progressing. Myself and Gemma, we became more and more invested in it also. So, to say, great opportunity, and really, really excited to finally get opening in the third date now that we were actually planning on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then Gemma, your involvement in the hotel and your role in it. What is it you're going to be doing there?
So the main area of the business that I will be dealing with is the events and wedding side of things, both for the Glenafar Robertson Suite and for the St James's Suite down across from the Paisley Sheriff Court. So I'm really excited, planning a wedding myself, so I'm really excited to start planning other people's weddings and just kind of get the ball rolling and get the doors open for it.
Are things booking in the diary already, Gemma?
The messages are coming in thick and fast just now, so it is exciting, and the booking diary for weddings is filling up just now. So at the moment we've put a kind of temporary close in non-wedding events, just with the situation in the industry and the uncertainty in the industry, but with going forward, we are looking forward to get the diaries filled up as soon as we can.
Yeah, what's the numbers for weddings now, Gemma? Is it 50 you're allowed in?
50 at the moment, yeah.
Yeah, is that going up as things change and as things progress?
Yeah, so once we move into the next level, is it 100?
Remains at 50 for the next level, and then potentially by June the 2nd, I believe, it could be up to 100. Yeah. But again, it's pretty vague in what's coming from Scottish Government then to Renfrewshire Council, and it's in line with what Alan said, it's very vague in knowing what the numbers could actually be of that 100 in this size of venue.
Yeah. I mean, certainly the wedding sector has been, quite impacted through COVID as well. Even myself, I know there's a couple of family weddings that have had to be postponed and so on. But, hopefully with those bookings that you're getting in, starting off small and then building up, that'll allow you guys to get into the swing of things in terms of operation, know how slickly it works from that side of things, and then you'll be able to grow till it's pretty much a kind of premier spot within Paisley to get married. So some folk will know the Glenafar Hotel, as I say, it's not too far from me, and but it looks like it's undergone quite a sort of refurbishment throughout. So tell us about some of the new things that we're likely to see in the interior itself.
Well, yeah. Well, I can kind of give you a wee bit of an insight into the downstairs. I'll let Gemma do the upstairs. So it's been quite an extensive renovation done throughout the entire ground floor.
Yeah.
The downstairs suite, which was very much separate to the public bar previously, is now all knocked into one.
Okay.
Both areas are still very adaptable to be used at different times for different sort of functions. So, for example, you could have a private area in, for example, the Browns Bar Bistro, which was the former public bar, or whilst the actual normal service is going on in the Paulson's. That's another thing, Paisley Connection. Mm-hmm. With the Brown Bar and Bistro and the Paulson's restaurant, Brown and Paulson, just down the road from us.
Very clever.
See what
I know, I thought that up myself.
That's good.
So, aye, of course, aye.
What is that in Italian, Gary?
Brown and Paulson's.
Aye.
Just in case of the Euro thing. Just in case.
Just Paulson and Brown is in Italian, Gary.
Eh?
Paulson and Brown in Italian.
Oh, so it is.
Aye. So basically, both areas, they're going to be very much food-led. The Browns Bar Bistro is still going to have a bar connotation to it.
Yep.
People can still come in and get a drink. It'll be a kind of mix of people eating and drinking. So it's moving the sort of public bar just a wee bit more where the industry's going. Because the days of just wet sales only in a bar are sadly just not there anymore. The actual Paulson's restaurant, it's more, we've got 3-group coffee machine. We're going to be really pushing the afternoon tea type thing by day, as well as having right from the start of the day at 7 a.m, breakfast right through to the sort of lunch, afternoon tea, right into the evening menu, to then the lights get dimmed, the LEDs in the background start to flash, and it becomes more of an evening, like a sort of, and more of an out vibe sort of thing. And I'll leave Gemma to kind of explain where the upstairs is went.
So the upstairs has essentially been started again. No stone has been left unturned upstairs. I don't know what to say about upstairs.
For example, the LEDs, just the whole adaptability.
I was going to ask it, is upstairs a hotel?
Yep, there's 6 bedrooms up the stairs as well, yeah. So we've got mirrored panelling all over the walls. We've got ambient mood lighting that can be changed to suit the theme of any kind of event we've got going on. We've got patio doors as well installed up the stairs for phase 2 of the renovation. The date on that is TBC just now, but we're going to be looking to build a balcony outside the function suite up the stairs.
Turns out you're not just allowed to build a balcony.
Well, I must admit,
go for it, but I was like, let's just build it, but no, you're not allowed to.
Got to get planning permission, building warrant.
Council, don't know.
It was actually, I was looking at that.
You're the engineer, Gary. I'll maybe ask your advice on that one.
But you're an engineer, I know.
Gary, I was looking at that. I was out for a run the other week there, and myself and my daughter was running past it, Catherine, and we were looking up and we're going, there's a set of outside doors on the first level up, but nothing to come out onto. And I thought that's either going to be a very quick fire escape with broken legs at the bottom, or I mean, I didn't think that you were going to build a fire escape. I thought it's got to be a balcony that you're building there. But you've got all the doors in there, and that window opening's all been knocked through.
Yep. We thought it made a lot of sense to do the extensive works in that while we were at this stage.
Aye.
The old windows in that suite just weren't really what you'd kind of call modern for a sort of nice open air room, let's say. It's just so good that we know that we've essentially future-proofed it for where we really see it going. We've even in the downstairs area where you had the sort of Andy, I'm sure you'll have noticed when you passed, just to the right-hand side of the main reception, we put doors in there. So again, that small area can potentially be sort of booked out, and you can actually have your own sort of entrance into that area, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But you can also have if you've got, say, like a baby shower in there for 30, you can have the doors open on a beautiful day, fresh air coming in, you can have seating outside. So the whole of the Gleniffer is completely adaptable to your needs. And I think we're actually a very unique venue for that.
Aye.
Yeah, what I was going to say, and what I'm observing, actually, the Paisley's not really well known for having hotels. And maybe if we scratched the surface and dug just below that, we could actually say we're starting to have some hotels. Are you going to market the property and the business as a hotel as well as an event space?
Yeah.
I'll let you go with that one.
I think from the beginning of us taking this over, we were always very keen on keeping the hotel aspect on. With the extended restrictions, we weren't actually going to touch the bedrooms with the renovation, but with the extended closure, we have since moved on to the bedrooms. So the bedrooms are just getting finished off this week.
It'll probably be about 7 to 10 days after opening that the bedrooms will be complete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've just been touching on that again. I've never thought really that. But what was it called before?
Just the Gleniffer Hotel.
I've never thought of it as a hotel. Actually, you'd never say to somebody coming in business, where could you stay? So we're really struggling for hotels. Mm-hmm. It's the Watermill or out of the airport, Ashtree House, slightly further up the market a wee bit there. But the work that you're doing, by the looks of it, you're now going to come into the thinking of, we actually have got hotels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, you'd be surprised when you speak to Callum, former owner. He said his occupancy was actually about 80%.
Really, yeah.
So it really is interesting. Obviously, having a busy function suite, which Gleniffer has always been known to have, that does help because a lot of people opt to stay over. It is a fairly budget sort of hotel. In the past, we have raised the bar a little, but it just gives a better all-round help. And what we think we will have is Monday to Friday, we think we'll have a lot of people that are travelling that will really choose us because we've got a nice restaurant downstairs.
Yep.
We've got a cracking breakfast. The breakfast menu is actually probably the thing I'm most excited about with the place, to be honest with you. So it's 100%. I think if anything, we'll only be more known for it now. Let's say.
I mean, It sounds fantastic. I mean, you're talking about a sort of budget, offering, but I mean, I'm getting a wee glimpse behind you, and the interior looks smashing. It looks fantastic. That sort of a lit plant, that you've got behind you, and that's going to be the backdrop to many Instagram pictures, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
You've got those kind of moments in there, but I think you're right. I think you've not got too large a bedroom offering, so that you can try and keep it as full as you possibly can. If you've got those big events on, you've got your bridal party and various other things staying over the night before, or a couple of nights after, or whatever, and then your events running throughout. But I think you're going to get a lot of local trade. I mean, for instance, as I say, myself and Claire will walk around in a Friday night, because we've not got too far to stagger back home for cocktails and a blether and a nice surrounding. And this part of the town, there's really, I can't think of anything else. You'd really be down into Neilston Road to Tannahills or somewhere like that to get a closest pint. So up on that side of the town, top of Neilston Road, the Glenafre's a fantastic location.
Mm-hmm.
What you're basically hearing from me is we're going to be regulars, so we'll need to get a tab going or something, Gary.
Yeah. Neat.
Watch Andy for the Round It Up campaign when he comes in.
I'm going to have to make good on that. Yeah, that's
I think you've got the Gary Care Fund. So buy him a bottle of gin.
I've been in the Glenafre Hotel once, Gary, a long time ago, and it was the bar, and it was like just a man's bar. And the step change that I feel that you guys are making is taking it from not being accessible to folk like Andy and his wife and his family, to now being really accessible to them. And that catchment area is right for something that what you do when you go in somewhere is you go in and you go, right, okay, let's change it, let's up the level a bit. So, I mean, I think it's going to be fantastic for the area. And I wish you all the best in it, and I think it'll be great.
Yep. Yeah. I think the only thing we always, when we've called it the sort of brown bar bistro, we are kind of, we still have to acknowledge the people that used obviously the bar and the sort of before. The reason the sort of bar bistro, we had to still make sure there was still the bar connotation to it, so that people know that it's still an open door. It's still the same welcoming place it's always been.
Yeah.
The staff that were here, they're the same staff that are coming back, as well as obviously our bigger numbers. So we still want the Glenafre to be that bigger part of the part of the community, but we want it just to be a bigger part of the community that is more open to, again, Andy and Claire, like you're saying, but as well as a mix of the sort of normal regulars as well that really did utilise the space.
Oh, absolutely.
Everybody's welcoming, as I say. It's a big place, and it should be the big heartbeat of the community.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. I mean, we're a lot of folk on wishing you the best of luck. I'm sure you're going to have a lot of trade coming in. So there was a question in from Colette about an opening day. So just give us a quick recap, Gemma, Gary. When are you hoping to open the doors? And Gary's just seen the football results. Is it that one, Gary? For live reactions, watch Gary on the 2-1 to St Mirren. So football aside, the opening, when is it? And is there any sort of setup that we need to be aware of? Do we need to book in advance if we want a table? Tell everyone about that, folks.
So we are opening on Monday the 26th at 11 o'clock. We're opening from 11 Monday to Thursday, but from Friday we'll go open from 7. So we have the terrace out the back, the gazebo, as you have been saying. We do recommend that booking as advised, because our diary went live tonight and everything is blown up with it. The amount of inquiries and bookings we've received so far has been...
The main selling point of that is, what's the benefit? Sorry, I should just shut up. Gary, where did you go? So are we still talking here?
Sorry,
I just lost Gemma's trail of thought there. What I was just kind of saying is the main selling point So the Sun Terrace, the main sort of selling point to that is it's an outdoor area that's covered over, that's heated, that you can get food and alcohol.
Did you say it was heated?
It's heated, warm.
Heated, you're right. I just didn't
Is that right?
Heated. Good.
It's not Baltic, so you can get food and drink in that area. So anyway, let Gemma continue. I'm sorry, I can't help it. You know me.
I threw you off, Gary, when I put that picture up because Gemma mentioned the outdoor area, and I just thought it'd be good. I just thought it'd be good to see the outdoor area.
That's all we did. This is called interaction.
How did you get that picture, Andy?
Oh, Gary sent it to me. I think he stole it off Facebook.
You've been out there with an illegal drone.
He borrowed one from Mars.
Oh, right, okay, fair enough. So then the inside areas, Paulson's and the Browns, they're available to book in Res Diary. Obviously, in these areas, it's food only with soft drinks, tea, coffee if you prefer. Hopefully that'll change on May the 17th. And then what we've done is we've utilised the massive grass area out the back. So we should have 24 picnic benches out there.
I've seen that on your Facebook, Gary. Whereabouts is the grass area that you're going to use? Is
so if you're coming down
right up the ramp, right up the hill?
Yep. Yeah. So if you're coming down from Barhead, just the grass area where the totem pole is. So there'll be two levels of 12 tables. So we're taking bookings for that through the private message via Facebook and Instagram. Is that right?
Yeah.
So, and then what happens is we put it into Res Diary from our end. The simple reason we've done that is we just don't want to cause any confusion between the rear beer garden and the terrace. It's just for clarity's sake.
Absolutely.
That's why we're distinguishing between the booking process for that.
I was looking at the grass there, the area that you've got, the mound. I think you definitely need to get a big external TV up, a big screen when it's Wimbledon. And you can have folks around for drinks and strawberries watching, just like Murray Mound down in at Wimbledon itself. It's got to be done. Got to be going to the Glenaffer for watching the tennis.
Or maybe the Euros.
Or maybe the football. Don't talk about football. You'll be starting talking about
It's for the football. It's for the football. Are you into the tennis, Gary?
I don't do football at all. You know, I'll always say I support my home team, St Mirren, but see, and all that shenanigans with the Super League and all that sort of stuff, it's way above my head. Get the tennis on, Gary. Get the tennis on.
Well, Gary, what you do then is if you've got the tennis on, me and Andy will come up for a couple of pims and we'll do
you have pims?
Talking a load of mins.
No, I'm sorry.
Get it for the tennis. So, folks, that's your Facebook page. That's the best place to go for all information, for booking, for doing all that stuff. Is that right?
Yep. Or look us up on Res Diary.
I mean,
Gary?
You've done with your brand.
Just go to Res Diary and look us up on that.
Res Diary, right? We'll do that.
Sorry, I probably just confused things. I should just shut up, honestly.
I'm confused. So you've got a front bit, you've got a back bit, you've got a balcony with the doors that open out. It hasn't got a balcony. You've got an inside bit that's got a tree hanging out it. You've some bedrooms upstairs. It's done up really nice, and you do extra large hot latte.
Pretty much, mate. Aye, and we do toast.
Oh, hey.
With three bits of butter. Is that right?
4.
I can remember it. Is it?
It's
one at the Glenaffer?
Gary, give us your message then for everyone and how they can support not just yourselves but the general trading community coming out of lockdown and gently coming out of lockdown. Tell us what you want to say to everyone.
Just remember how tough it's been for the industry, and see when you are out there to spend money, keep it as local as you possibly can. That's all I would say, because even in the lead up to the first lockdown, I remember I was actually thinking about this when I was watching Alan's video earlier and looking at the bungalow. Me and Gemma were there for that last gig when people were deserting the coffee shops, people were deserting the venues, they were deserting the pubs. But we really dured it out to the last possible moment because we knew it was coming. We all knew it was coming. But see, when the people, rightly so, people were scared to go out. But see now, just support local as much as you possibly can because it really does make a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And we wish you every success, and we hope that this lockdown easing is the last of it and you're able to ramp up and into another successful business. So thanks for me and Andy. Wish you every success, and thanks for coming on the show, Gary. And
can I just congratulate you two guys and show number 52 as well? I just get that at the start. Oh, that's a full year then. So
more or less.
Near enough, Gary.
I know.
Well, good on you guys. Good on you.
A wee bit strange reflecting back on it and committing every Wednesday, but it's been good fun and it's kept us going.
I think we're going to get an audit in to see how many shows we've actually done. But Paul Stewart mentioned that the Glenifer can host the live chat show, which I'm happy about because it's just round the corner from me. But I tell you what, when we can get out and about, we'll have to come into the Glenifer and do that live broadcast.
Do it out in the hill. It's okay. We've got plenty of seating out there. There's plenty of social distancing. We can do it next week. Let's do it.
Andy,
Andy, a stage set up.
This is turning into a tour now, Gary. That's us with 2 venues. So our Paisley tour of the chat show up at the Glenifer, we'll have a tennis theme, and down at the bungalow we'll talk about Fittler.
That's a good idea. Gemma, Gary, been a pleasure to have you on. Good luck, and no doubt I'll see you soon. All right.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Take
care,
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye. Oh, that was great, Gary, to have Gary and Gemma on. I mean, this is the bravery of the traders within the town. You know, it's been tough. Gary mentioned that. Just remember everything that they've been through. It's been tough. And there are 2 smashing folk, including Alan as well, who's been through
it. Sorry, Andy.
What is that? What have I missed?
Yeah.
She's getting it.
Oh, dear. Get a T-shirt made.
Oh, dear. It's just round the corner from me, Gary.
And you've not mentioned it, though.
I know, but I just wanted to show my local support.
Yeah, very good.
As I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted.
It's a team.
It takes the brave people to turn the key and open up their restaurants, their cafes, their hotels, their venues, all that stuff again. And the very least we can do is go out and support them. Absolutely. And there's the tour is expanded. Terry, we're not going to your bathtub. No. There's no enough room. There's not enough matey in the world that will entice us into your bath, Terry. Oh, well, listen, we'll happily come down. We'll happily come down to Fergusley. We'd be delighted to do that. And yeah, fantastic. It's, you know, again, Gary, we always say it's the guests that make the show, and it's all the. I'm getting pelters tonight. Oh, hold on a second. I did, Paul. When I was out for a run, I ran past it and I saw it, Paul. You weren't running very far, Andy, if it's just in the corner. Oh, you guys. Oh, what's it like here? Was it like here in the show? Hey, listen, I tell you what, see when we're all sitting watching the tennis with our Pims, I'll have the least distance to walk back home, Gary. That's what I'm looking forward to. But you were the only guy sitting there with the white gear on. Pair of wee white shorts and your ankle socks and your green flash. My plimsolls. Now listen, I'm looking forward. I'll be out there with my strawberries and cream, Gary. Go and see if they hit the ball in the wrong direction. Listen, there's some folk no paying attention, and I would have thought better. The right sport. I would have thought better of Councillor Devine. He should have been paying attention. Eddie, the Glenifer is just round the corner for me. It's just round the corner. Do you know what? I can see Gary away to his graphic designer to change his strapline.
The Glenafort.
Exactly.
It's just round the corner.
No, that's wrong. It's the Glenafort. It's just round the corner for Andy.
No, there you go. That's 10%. 10%.
Did you hear that, Gary? Are you all right with that, Gary?
I actually quite like the Glenafort. It's just round the corner, by the way. That's actually quite good, isn't it? Actually, well, that doesn't sound too bad.
Marketing genius.
Oh. Yeah, the Glenafort, just round the corner.
Just
tennis.
Just round the corner.
For tennis.
Right, okay, Gary.
And other sports. We've overrun.
Well, we've overran the overrun. Gary, what's coming up in next week's show, Gary?
Next week's show, which is our penultimate show before our first birthday anniversary. We have 2 guests on next week to tell us about the new Tannahill Arts Festival that's emerging in Paisley. A really exciting arts festival with a Tannahill theme and a Tannahill base. So that's next week, Andy. We're sorting that out during the week.
That's going to be great. So, folks, as always, thank you so much indeed for joining us this evening. The banter has been braw, as they say. It's been great to see you all, and have a lovely remainder. Terry's top.
You too.
Have a lovely remainder of your week, folks.
Yeah. Have a good weekend.
See you later on. Bye.
Good night.